on set. Places, everybody. And action.
I'm so excited today to share with you my interview with Canadian actress Candyce Weir.
I guess you're feeling pretty smug.
Excuse me?
Now you like sitting up there all high and mighty passing judgment on people, don't you?
Okay, there's a big difference between passing sentence and passing judgment.
My son is going to prison, but you insist in piling on the embarrassment by ordering him to therapy?
I'm just trying to give Dirk the tools he needs to make him a productive member of society.
You are pathetic.
Okay, lady, you need to back off.
Or what? You'll have me arrested for speaking my mind? I'm not touching you. I have my right.
Easy now, Sean.
Don't touch me, Vance. You're gonna regret this.
Wow, she's a peach.
Hi everybody, my name is Candyce Weir and I am an actress and I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia. And I just want to thank you all and Christina for inviting me to answer some of your questions that you've had. And I guess I'll start with the first one. How did I get started and what were the steps that I took? Honestly, my first taste of acting would have been back in grade 4. And I had a wonderful teacher, Miss Paulding, who taught ukulele, piano, music, obviously, and also some plays that we would do for the school. So that was my first taste of acting. I got to play Princess Leia in a cute little student film that we did for our parents on stage, and it was wonderful. I had a great part then, and maybe that was what was to come for me. I'm not sure, but it was fun. And so that really got me interested in it, but back then my parents were not the most creative people, and I just became interested in other stuff. Music was one of the things that I really loved and still love. So I continued to do that, and acting kind of fell on the wayside. But years later, in my 20s, I had a friend, a very good friend, that was doing commercials, and she said, you know, you should go and get your headshot done and, you know, send it out to some agents or even my agent and see if they bite, because you can make quite a bit of money. You have the look and whatever. So I thought, okay, why not? So was the first step that I took. Is I found a good headshot photographer that could do my headshots, and back then they were in black and white. Now they are in color. And I produced a few okay, mediocre headshots, but I sent them out and I heard nothing. So I then realized that I needed to get some training. And honestly, that's probably your first and best step, is to get some training, stand in front of the camera, maybe do some of your own skits, just get some confidence, build your confidence, and really work at your craft.
How do you know my name was August?
It's God. I know everything, remember?
God. Yeah, right.
So here's the deal. I got about 6 minutes left on my prepaid phone. Or is that a 9? Anyway, I suggest you spend that time asking me questions that I got time to answer before I go to Canada.
So the importance of my character in a story is super important. If I have a script in front of me, which is fantastic, but is not often the case, I can read the whole story and actually see where my character fits in and how I help the story, whether it's recurring, a principal role, maybe a guest star, a co-star. I really have to see how my character is helping or hindering the story, and most importantly, how am I helping the lead or transcending the story, moving the story forward? How am I doing that? Because all the characters have a purpose, and unless maybe you're an extra and you're just background. But they're important too, because background and extras are in almost every scene. So that is another thing I would suggest where you might want to start in your career, is as an extra or background. But back to the question, I think it's very important that you figure out what your role is in the story. And this is getting into detail, but when you write, you have page numbers of a story. And so, if you're on page 1, your scene, for example, you're right at the beginning of the story. You're probably pretty important, or maybe you're just setting the stage. If you're in the middle, we know that a lot has already happened, and this is the climax of the whole storyline. So you might be really important. If you're at the end, you might be maybe just the villainess, as I was in The Hammer when I played Charlene. So it's really, really super important. You figure out how you are moving the story forward and how you are helping the lead or the other characters that are important in the story, series, film, whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, so how did I know I won the role of Charlene in The Hammer? Well, this was quite funny because I completely forgot about that audition, which is actually a good thing to do, because when you dwell on an audition and you really wanted it and you're like, I have to have that audition, I have to get that part, it means everything to me. Usually you don't get that part. I don't know why that happens. It's Murphy's Law, but I remember I had done that audition in the summer, early summer, and I was doing another self-tape with a reader, and my agent called and said, you got the part of Charlene. And I was excited, but I actually thought it was for a different part that I had done about a month before, which was an okay part, and I was thrilled to have it. But when I went back to my sides and was looking for the role of Charlene, I couldn't believe that I got the principal role for this movie, this feature film, The Hammer. I was kind of shocked, excited, and scared at the same time, because I was like, okay, I need to revisit this whole scene and probably get some coaching on it. And that's exactly what I did.
So listen to me very carefully. In 5 minutes, I am boarding a private jet in an airstrip in Costa Rica. Just in case I don't make it back to Texas alive, I am giving this vial to the one and only person in the world that I can trust right now.
Okay. Stage fright. This one is a big one because we all have it. And my suggestion is, first and foremost, breathe. I've been taking some classes, and one of the things that we learned is to do an arrival breath. So if you are on set and you're maybe 5 minutes away from getting on set to actually do your scene, I suggest an arrival breath. And it's very simple. You just close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for 4 seconds, 6 seconds, breathe out through your nose, not your mouth. The controlled breathing through your nose on the way out will calm your nerves a lot more. And of course, while you're doing this, you're thinking of what it is you're about to do. Maybe your lines, but by now you should be off book, which means you know your lines forward and backwards. So it's really just about immersing yourself in the character, immersing yourself in the scene, what's about to happen, immersing yourself with the character that you're going to be speaking with, or characters. And take that arrival breath. It really, really helps. And you can do that in everyday life with whatever it is. Maybe you have to do a speech. Maybe you have a recital that you have to do. Maybe you have a big soccer game coming up and you're nervous about how you're going to play. Just take a moment by yourself, And if actors are around and, they're looking at you, don't worry about it. This is your moment. This is your scene. So take it all in and really get yourself centered. Another thing that I like to do, if I'm not quite on set yet, if I'm in the dressing room or waiting in the foreground, I'll do a plank, which is in yoga where you basically put your hands on the ground and your feet behind you, and you just do a plank. And if you don't know what that is, just look up yoga plank and you will see. And I would try and hold that for at least 30 seconds to a minute, up to 2 minutes if you can. And you might feel your arms starting to jitter from the weight of your own body. I don't know how it works, but for some reason that gets the jitters out for me, and it stabilizes me. And then I stand up, I take my arrival breath, and I'm good to go. But I will say one thing, and I don't suggest this, is because I was meeting Reba in the film The Hammer, I was so nervous. And the night before, I was in my hotel room, and I thought, I'm so nervous for tomorrow morning, I'm just gonna do some aerobics. So I have on YouTube, I followed an aerobic instructor, and I was getting my energy out, and I had all this pent up energy, and I had these brand new runners that had a little bit of a lip on them. I wasn't used to them. And the edge of my runner hit the edge of my bed. And I went over on my ankle, and I actually heard it pop. Then I was like, okay, did I just roll over on my ankle? Have I sprained my ankle the night before I have to see Reba and go on set for pretty much the biggest role that I've ever had in my career? Yes, I did. I was mortified. I literally was talking to myself in the mirror saying, what did you just do? Did you really just go over on your ankle? And of course, my scene is I am walking up very fast and furious to confront Reba, and I had to do it in high heels, which, by the way, I don't often wear. So I just talked to myself. I went to the pharmacy. I got some cream, some arnica, natural arnica cream to take the bruising and swelling down. I drank lots of water. I wrapped it. I elevated it. In the morning, it was worse than I've ever seen. But I got through it, and with a little bit of pain. I didn't tell anybody on set, and this is a lesson that I did learn from my agent, is if something like that happens, you should let somebody know, whether it's your agent or somebody on set, just so they can help you and maybe tell you, hey, we don't need you right now. We've got 5 minutes while we're setting up the lighting. Let's sit you down and elevate your foot and make life a little bit easier for you. Can I get you some ice? Maybe it's swollen because you've been on it all day. So that all stems from nerves, and I hope that you never do that or experience that. But I can laugh at it now, and it made me stronger.
Well, this is a lot of help.
August, let me ask you something. When you are thirsty, does a glass of water come to you? Or do you pick your sorry ass up off the ground and go get it? Answers are the same way in life. I put them all around you. All you have to do is recognize them. And once you do, you need to show them some goddamn respect.
Do I use my acting skills in real life? Most definitely. And in my opinion, the best thing that an actor has in their toolbox is listening. When you are actively listening to your scene partner or even the scene, you are responding. And in real life, I try, it's not easy, but the best thing you can do and learn from acting is to really listen. And in real life, if you think about it, if you are in a coffee shop or in a park or in a mall and you're just sitting on a bench and you're watching people, which we all love to do. And I don't know about you, but I've made up little stories. I wonder what they do for a living. I wonder where they're going. What is everybody doing right now? I mean, you're not listening in that situation, but let's say you had an opportunity to go up to somebody in a park, or they sat beside you on a bench and they just started talking to you. Maybe they're a crazy person, maybe they're an elderly person. I think if you listened, you'd probably really learn something pretty cool. Maybe you would just learn that they're crazy, which is funny and interesting. Or maybe the elderly person had a really sad war story or lost his wife. But think about how that would make you feel listening to that story, and how it makes them feel getting it off their chest. Maybe they needed somebody to talk to. So the number one thing in acting and real life for me is listening. And I guarantee you that will make you a better actor also, because you will have more experiences, more life experiences, and it will affect you more.
I don't hear them anymore. The voices, they're gone. Really gone. They stopped a few weeks ago after I was admitted here. I have to confess to something. I'm sorry. I stopped taking my meds. They made the voices go away. I thought when I stopped taking them, they'd come back. But they didn't. I have to confess to something else. I miss them. The voices, they told me what to do. They kept me focused. But now I think they think I've betrayed them. That I took the medicine you gave me because I wanted them to leave. I didn't know that's what you were trying to do, Doc. They probably think I sent them away. Tell me something, Doc. If I'm good. Do you think they'll come back?
Okay, so the next question is a doozy. How do I get into character or immerse myself in the character that I'm playing? The first thing that I do, I think, is I really try and go over the similarities and differences that we have in my personal life. How am I similar to this character? How am I similar, for example, to Charlene, who's a big city girl, wears beautiful outfits, all this kind of stuff, and is maybe a bit spoiled, was a beauty queen. Well, I'm not any of that, but do I love clothes? Do I like to dress up sometimes? Yes. So we do have some similarities. I need to find where we're similar, and then I need to figure out where we're different and why we're different maybe. And even though we're different, I still have to play this woman or this character and their differences. So for an example, let's say my character hates cats. Well, I love cats. I love all animals. Why do I hate this? Why do I hate cats? Why does my character hate cats? I have to dig deep and figure out why that is, because then I'll understand my character better and my performance in the end will be better too. So perhaps maybe I was attacked by a cat. Maybe they remind me of rats and I hate rats. I mean, it could be countless things. Maybe my parents, when I grew up, had so many cats and they just irritated me. I mean, there's so many ways you could go with a character that hates cats and you personally love cats. So somehow you have to find your way in there, and I guarantee you will find your way in. It's just, you have to look for it. The other thing I do is I really research my character. So for example, if you're given some clues or hints in the script or your breakdown of what they do for a living, and you have no clue what that is, go on Google and research it. Figure out what a mortician is. Figure out what a certain type of scientist does. And I mean, really figure it out. Dig deep into what they do. Maybe your character has an illness and you have no clue what that illness is. You need to know that. That's really important because that's going to affect how you portray yourself as that person on film or on the stage or anywhere. If I have Parkinson's, for example, it affects my mobility and they shake a lot. So if I'm not shaking and I have Parkinson's and I'm in a very deep stage of Parkinson's, it's not going to be believable because almost every person with Parkinson's will shake pretty uncontrollably. So those things are really important. And once you find all that, then you have to still bring back you into the whole scene, because that's what's going to set you apart from everybody else, because there's nobody like you. You are uniquely you. Nobody can play you because you're you. So find what the character is and then bring yourself back into it, if that makes sense. And once you practice it more and more, it will make a lot of sense. Trust me.
You ain't gotta watch, or at least a mom, to change your poopy diaper for you the first thing in the morning.
I'm so sorry, Pace. I already gave you half of it. And you know I'm good for the rest. I mean, it's not like I'm the only one that owes you.
Get out of the car and come with me. I've had enough of this sad little story of yours.
It's only a matter of time we're talking about here.
How pathetic.
Yeah, actually. Haven't I given up enough? I mean, wasn't it a fair trade? I mean, look at you. You got legs, gorgeous legs. I mean, cleavage I can't stop staring at. I mean, wasn't it seriously fucking enough? Fuck. I mean, can't you just, I don't know, take some hair or something?
So my motivation to continue acting is easy. It's just creating. I am happiest when I am creating. So whether I am acting, painting, doing music, gardening, singing a song that I've never heard, trying to sing a song that I've never heard on a radio, doing videos, little skits, little plays. I'm happiest when I'm creating something. And that is my motivation to continue acting. I love the people that I meet and collaborate with when I am on set. I don't have a lot of theater experience other than that grade 4 play that I did. But it's really important. Theater is extremely important in the world of acting. It gives you a whole different perspective. And it's something that I wish that I would have done more. I still can, it's not too late, but I think my love is mostly in film, but they're two very different aspects of acting. They do come together, but super helpful. So I do suggest you continue with your acting as well. But collaborating with people in the acting business, and whether it's other actors or even people that are on set doing camera, lighting, grip work, even the caterer. There's so much you can learn. Make them your tribe, make them your people, and you will learn a lot and be extremely motivated in doing so. And I also suggest really making sure that you train in other things besides acting. Like, make sure you try some music out. Maybe you know how to juggle. Odd talents are very sought after in acting. Like, how many people, can do the spaghetti thing through your nose? And I know I can, but maybe a lot of people can, but I think it's gross and I don't do it. But, you might get called for something like that. Maybe you're a tap dancer. Some of these, the unicycle, lots of things that were in the circus that people don't do now, the tightrope. I mean, there's lots of old talents from the past that we've lost. So maybe if you know how to do any of those, you're kind of unique and special and will get the part versus somebody else. So keep yourself motivated that way, and just be creative and meet people. Always meet people and hang out with people that have your interest.
She said yes. She didn't say no. She said yes. I looked her dead straight in the eye and I asked her. I didn't get that nervous cough or itchy eyes. Confident. I oozed cool. Well, maybe for a couple seconds. I was the lion, showing off my mane to his lioness, wooing her back to my den. Beth, would you like to go for dinner and a show on Friday night? I managed to get some fantastic seats. My voice, it didn't even waver. I didn't get that squeak that I sometimes get in my voice. Oh, and my body language, it was good. I used my hands, but not a lot, just enough. Getting started in acting, all the other things that I mentioned by doing a talent that's very unique are great things to do or start with. But you definitely want to take some training. Maybe you could start with some background work if you can get an agency that does just background or extra work, sometimes it's called. Those are all really important things to get you on set, to see what happens on set, to know where the cameras are and what people are doing and where they're going. They're long hours, it's hard work, it's sometimes not very good pay or no pay. But I guarantee you'll learn a lot, and it's a good place to start. If that's too intimidating, then definitely start with some training. Whether you're doing, school plays, maybe some improv. Improv is really, really great for actors because it helps you to think on the spot. A lot of times directors will say, this scene is not going the way I want it. Can we do it this way? Well, I didn't rehearse that, or I didn't practice any of that. And directors nowadays especially really want to see you at the drop of a hat just change. Can you do it this way? Be more funny. So improv really helps for that because it's improv. It's right now, here's the scenario, go. So I definitely suggest improv. Also, just immerse yourself in all the creative things that I mentioned earlier. And you don't have to get an agent off the bat. It's helpful if you can, because they will have your back and
hopefully, if you have a good rapport and relationship with them, they will work for you because they work for you. But you don't necessarily need an agent. There's lots of outlets right now, like Backstage, and even on YouTube, you can put your own content, your own videos. You can do all sorts of stuff on there for free. So get yourself out there with social media on Instagram, TikTok, all these things. There's so much you can do now to get seen and heard, and someone will notice your talents. So I would start there, and training is really important because, believe it or not, casting directors, agents, directors, they all want to see what training you have. So, and it keeps you confident, and it keeps you in practice. So, you know, you would never go and play basketball for a professional team if you didn't practice every day. So acting is the same. It's a muscle. It needs to be worked every day.
No one's gonna believe you talk to me anyway, and I know you're probably just as frustrated now as you were 5 minutes ago. But it's not as hard as you make it. All you need to do is ask yourself 3 simple questions every time you have an important decision to make about anything. Is this a choice that I can live with if it becomes the last choice I make? Only then will you become freer, kinder, more loving. Only then will it not matter if you don't wake up tomorrow.